Hello, partners. Welcome to this enablement session. Today, we're going to be discussing Rise with SAP and Journey to the Intelligent Enterprise and Win with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. In this session, we'll cover the commercials aspect of the solution as part of your partner cell authorization requirements. The cell authorizations for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition is not just for sales roles. It includes all roles within your organization. Here we see the objectives by partner role. On the left, we see the sales executive, pre-sales, consultant, and customer engagement executives. And on the right, we have the solution consultants involved in the sales cycle. Please take a moment to review all of the points here. The objective here is to ensure that your organization across all roles are proficient and have the knowledge so that you're able to market, sell, close business, and implement and bring your customers along their journey in Rise with SAP. While only one role or one person is required for the actual cell authorization, we encourage that all of your sales executives, pre-sales folks, customer engagement managers, and solution consultants who are involved with Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition at least take the course. This way, everybody within your organization are singing off the same song sheet. The courses are available, as you know, in this learning journey. Additional folks don't have to take the web assessments if you don't want them to. They can if you wish, but again, just encourage you to take the courses. So let's begin. A prerequisite for this enablement course is for you to have already taken the overview course before beginning this enablement, as you must have the positioning and solution overview understanding before diving into the commercials here, because I'm not going to spend any time on the overview. We have a full hour presentation on just this topic, and I encourage you to review that first before diving into the commercial session here. The objectives of the sales authorization for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, scope, pricing, and commercialization session are the following. First, we hope that you will understand the Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition cell authorization requirements. Next, we want you to understand what the Rise with SAP offer is all about and to be able to articulate this to your customer. To understand how SAP segments the market, and to be able to recognize the areas that are best suited for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition for your customers or prospects. We want you to be able to present and elaborate on the scope of the solution to a customer or prospect. We hope that you are able to explain the benefits of the solution and to create a value proposition for a customer or prospect. We want you to understand the commercial aspects of Rise with SAP S4HANA Private Edition, such as pricing and packaging. And we hope that you will understand the sales process and where you as a partner fits into this process. And to be able to work with SAP sales teams to create your subscription license code. And again, to be able to work with us together to close business. I want to also provide clarity on the cell authorization for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. Here's what we did. We've created one cell authorization. It is combining the existing SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition cell authorization and where we add new content, new web assessments, and new requirements for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. So when you're done, you are cell authorized for both solutions. We have one cell authorization process and you are SEL authorized for S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition and Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. So the SEL authorization requirements covers both solutions. All partners who already have an SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition SEL authorization must fulfill all the new requirements, including partners who just have the Extended Edition SEL authorization. Even if you do not have any intention of selling Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, or you have no intention of selling or providing services for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, you must fulfill both learning journeys. So you've got to cover both topics because we've combined both topics into a single SEL authorization. The good thing here is partners have until January 2022 to fulfill these requirements. So this should be lots of time. And for those partners who are selling or providing implementation services for Extended Edition and or Private Cloud Edition, it is only in your interest to get your SEL authorization now. So partners must now qualify 1 sales executive, 1 pre-sales consultant, 1 customer engagement person, and 3 consultants. This changes from 2020, where we've only had 1 solution consultant requirement for Extended Edition. Well, we're adding 2 more so that it's consistent across all of our cloud solutions. Again, while only 1 sales executive is required to be qualified, we suggest and strongly suggest that all of your sales executives, pre-sales consultants, CEEs, and consultants at least take the enablement. You don't need these additional people to take the exams, the web assessments. But in order for your organization to be proficient and rise to the top, it only makes sense for as many people in your company to take the training. New for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition is a service authorization. Partners must qualify at least 1 project manager and 3 solution consultants. Solution consultants will have to successfully complete a new web assessment. So there's an existing web assessment for Extended Edition, and we're replacing it with a brand new one. And the solution consultants must take this new one. Partners must reach out to their PBM or PSAs or regional solution center managers for the web assessment access. Because one thing we'll be checking, and which is a prerequisite, is that your consultants must be certified in S4HANA. So if you have certified consultants for the on-prem S4HANA portfolio, you're good to go. If not, you need that certification in order to be service authorized for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. Here we see the SEL authorization requirements by role for the sales executive, the pre-sales consultant, and the CEE. The items in white, so the boxes you see here in white, they were part and are part of the S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition SEL authorization. So for those partners who are already SEL authorized for Extended Edition, there are no additional requirements for Extended Edition. The system will take note, and you will see that you have already gotten credit for taking those courses. The items in green are new courses for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. And you can see there are 2 learning journeys for each of these roles. And here in this course, you're taking the commercials course. In yellow, these are additional trainings that we'll be adding. Some will be added now and some will be coming soon. First is the sales process overview, the Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition CPA credits, the business networks overview for sales, And then we go into more detail in terms of the networks for Digital Suppliers Network, the Asset Intelligent Network, and the Logistics Business Network for pre-sales and for CEEs. Okay, we have more training for the consultants and the pre-sales consultants so that your role understands more about the RISE with SAP bundled components, so you're able to actually position the offer components, but also to be able to begin to upsell and talk to your customers about the full-blown solutions under the RISE with SAP offer. This will not only offer greater benefits to your customers, but also offers more ways to monetize your business with SAP. And for the solution consultant role, we have additional courses here. So again, the items in white, your solution consultant has taken this training as part of the extended edition cell authorization. And here in green, we have new courses, and in yellow, additional courses pertaining to the RISE with SAP offer. The solution consultants will have to successfully complete a new web assessment, which replaces the existing one. So there will be questions still on extended edition. So even though you've taken the training, you don't have to take those courses over, but just be aware that there will be questions on the web assessments. So you may need to go back and review. Again, partners should reach out to the partner account manager or solution center manager to get access to this web assessment. We will only give the web assessments out, the link to the web assessments, to those partners who have been successfully nominated by the region. And here we see the RISE with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition new service authorization. And you can see here there's a requirement for 3 solution consultants. They can have any SAP S4HANA on-prem certification. They must also complete the RISE with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition Services training. There's also the partner considerations in terms of the commercials and overview, which we are going through today. There's 3 additional courses on the S4HANA Cloud Private Edition RISE with SAP for the Digital Supplier Network, the Asset Intelligent Network, and the Logistics Business Network. And at the end, there's a web assessment. In addition, there's a requirement for 1 project manager. They take the courses for the overview, implementation methodologies, and so on. And then there's a web assessment. This is coming soon. So if you're listening to this training before April 1, this is still in the works. If you're listening to this training after April 1, this should be in place already. Important notes, at least 3 solution consultants and 1 project manager are required to become service authorized. Your partner account manager or PSA or the regional solution center manager will check to ensure that you have your 3 certified consultants. Once we've checked that you do have 3 certified consultants, I will be getting an email. This is Michelle Boyer here. And then we will ask that the web assessments be released. The service authorization is optional, but recommended. Customers should select a service authorized partner for their S4HANA Cloud Extended or RISE with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition project, as SAP will not carry any responsibility for the quality of those services delivered by you, or accept any escalation for services delivered by non-authorized service partners. So it's in your interest to become service authorized already. And then you could put this on your website or on your business card. So why do we have this partner nomination and approval process? Let's take a look. Well, first of all, the nomination process ensures quality of partners across all components of the SAP LACE model. So we want to check to make sure that you have a proficient and you have expertise within your company on S4HANA. we want to ensure that you provide proven best practice approaches for your customer. So, for example, because we've had a nomination and approval process for the extended edition over the last 3 years, we have had next to no sell and/or implementation escalations in any partner-led projects. In addition, SAP wants to be able to focus on our most proficient and dedicated SAP S4HANA partners. We want to avoid the situation where there are just too many authorized partners, but a very small active partner population, which means we have to spread our resources wide, which means you may not get the appropriate attention you might need. With fewer partners, but higher qualified partners, we're able to provide you the best service possible. And the result is a better utilization of SAP resources across the globe. And it gives SEL authorized partners the attention you need and deserve with a fixed number of SAP resources. Makes sense, doesn't it? This looks quite confusing, but it's really not. This is where you come in, okay? So you see on the top in the green. So if you as a partner are not on the approved or nominated list of partners to do and complete their SEL authorization, what you need to do is reach out to your partner account manager or the Solution Center manager, and they will work with the SAP team who will request a nomination. They'll go through this checklist process down in the blue. So you see the Partner Solution Center managers, and then they'll go through the check to make sure that you as a partner meet all the prerequisites. Then we go down into the purple, and this is where I receive your nomination, and it's approved, and the web assessments get released for you, and you complete the training and the web assessments, and you become SEL authorized. So we do have a process internally. It's been working like a machine over the last couple of years for extended edition, and we'll be utilizing the same process with RISE with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. Please note that as a partner, if you are operating in multiple countries or jurisdictions or regions, you need to be SEL authorizations for every country that you plan to do business in. And here we see the bar, the criteria for nomination and approval. So it's managed by the Global Partner Organization for the nomination process, beginning with you, our partner, your partner account manager, or your PSA, who then go and plead their case with the Solution Center management team for the market unit and or region, and once approved, you're good to go. Okay, so here's what you have to have in order to be nominated. You believe and understand the cloud business model. You have a dedicated and fully committed cloud sales and pre-sales team, and a dedicated core consulting team who will become product authorized on S4HANA. You must have your S4HANA on-prem product authorizations or certifications for your consultants. The number for consultants has gone up from 1 to 3. Must have a strong S4HANA on-prem scope expertise. You're not going to be successful in selling or implementing either extended edition or private cloud edition unless you have a strong on-prem knowledge base. And you have a proven successful on-prem closing business and implementation reputation. You've got on-prem sales, demo, and service experience, and you must have at least a Partner Edge Silver, Gold, or Platinum level. And you'll be able to support S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition and RISE with SAP, S4HANA Private Edition, Application Managed Services, R&R, and so on. Here we see a matrix of the SEL and service authorization by partner type. So we have our GSSP partners, or Global Strategic Services Partners, our Regional Services Partners, or RSPs, and our Value-Added Resellers. Where you see an R, it's required, O is optional, and P is prerequisite. So if you are a partner who are selling using the Partner Edge sell, resell, or Cloud Choice Profit selling mechanisms, you must have your sell authorization. For GSSPs and value-added resellers, a services authorization is optional. But for regional services partners who do not sell, you don't need a sell authorization, but you do need a services authorization. Other desired designations are in the blue here. So if you have your outsourcing operation services or your AMS certification for S4HANA solution operations, really cool and very helpful, but it's all optional. As well as your Partner Center of Expertise or your PCOE certification, again, desired but not required. I hope this helps. So let's now get into the commercials. In order to set the stage, I'm going to recap the Rise with SAP, our business transformation as a service concept. So you as a partner, you may have an ECC customer base. You might also have some customers who have SAP S4HANA, including those customers that have purchased that are still not started in their implementation and journey, or they might be S4HANA on-prem customers. In addition, you might be working and talking with many customers who don't have SAP S4HANA. These are customers that have old ERP systems or old competitive solutions. Well, all of these customers fit the bill and can come with us on the journey to Rise with SAP. Rise with SAP brings everything together that you need to transform your customer's business in the way that works best for them, regardless of their point of departure and how fast they want to move. Taking this another way, you see where we have the all points of departure, whether they're an ECC customer base, your customer base, or an S4HANA on-prem customer or a net new customer. You'll be going through this process and this journey with your customer. First, we have the business process redesign. Next, there's the technical migration with the tools and services provided. Then there's the build the intelligent enterprise process that you will be working with your customer, starting with infrastructure and operations, the business technology platform, the business networks, and S4HANA Cloud. At the end of the day, the journey is to the intelligent enterprise. So when we look at Rise with SAP and the business transformation as a service, you can see here on the left the offering components. So these components are all included and bundled in a single material number for Rise with SAP, public cloud or private cloud. So there's the process intelligent discovery reports, the technology platform CPEA credits, the network starter package, the custom code analyzer, and readiness check, the S4HANA with deployment model of choice, whether it's public or private, and on the infrastructure provider of choice. Optional components include additional services provided by you, our partners. With this, you're able to analyze the processes, how the process is performed, get your tailored recommendations and benchmarks against industry standards. You can complement, extend, or integrate with SAP, your partner solutions or third-party solutions using the same data model. Digitize the collaboration with all of your trading partners and your customers' trading partners, and using the tools and services from SAP to support your customer's journey that can be augmented by SAP's strong ecosystem, you, our partner. All this adds up to one simple offer, Rise with SAP, one contract for all the bits that SAP provides, and an unmatched total cost of ownership. You can see a double asterisk here. One contract refers to the Rise with SAP offer. Of course, as a partner, you may have a second contract with your customer for all of your services and your add-on packages, extensions, and so on that you provide. If you're doing a Partner Edge via resale indirect deal, the SAP license is on your paper as well. So from your perspective, it's one contract with you, with your customer. So here we see all of the components that make up the Rise with SAP offer. So on the left, what's included in the material number is the SAP S4HANA Public Cloud and the Rise with SAP S4HANA Private Cloud. Your customer will receive tools and services, a business process intelligence discovery reports, an SAP Business Network Starter Pack, and an SAP Business Technology Platform Services credits. Let's take a look at each of these in a little bit more detail. Firstly, let's look at the tools and services. The embedded services and tools that come with the subscription license with the Rise with SAP offer include the Readiness Check, Custom Code Migration App, and a Learning Hub Auto Attach. Looking at things a little bit in more detail, the Readiness Check provides the technical guidance on moving to SAP S4HANA. Most of you as our partner are familiar with this tool. The Learning Hub also offers access to SAP expertise and skill-based building resources for your customers. Most of you as a partner have licenses and subscriptions to the SAP Learning Hub. We recommend that you also recommend the Learning Hub for your customers as well. 5 seats are included via the Auto Attach. It's not included in this as a subscription, but the Auto Attach component is included. The Custom Code Migration app is also included and is used to reduce the custom code migrated from legacy SAP systems like ECC to SAP S4HANA. As I said, most of these embedded tools and services you're familiar with, and they're included with every subscription. 100% automated and 100% self-serve. Next, looking what is included with the SAP Business Process Intelligence and the Discovery Reports. Let's take a look at that in a little bit more detail. The Business Process Intelligence component provides free process discovery reports. It also provides free RISE edition of BPI Insight. And next, there's free included CPEA credits. And you can see that these tools allow you to understand the opportunities, how and where to improve best, and fix it and measure the impact for your customer. The next component is the SAP Business Technology Platform and Platform Services. So these are provided in the form of a credit. So they're the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement Credit for deals done with the public cloud. So Rise with SAP S4HANA Public Cloud. There's a minimum of €2,000 annual credit value and a max credit of €16,000. Computed as 1% of the annual net public cloud value. So we take the net value of the deal, apply 1%, and do a calculation for the credits. For private cloud, the minimum is €4,000 annual credit value with a max of €16,000, and the calculation is done in the same. So again, looking at this, the CPEA credits of between $4,000 and $16,000 for private cloud, and between $2,000 and $4,000 annually in credits for public cloud. It's computed by taking a look at 1% of the annual net value for the Rise with SAP S4HANA deal, whether it's public or private. And then these credits can be applied to the services for SAP S4HANA and the SAP Business Technology Platform. For pre-sales and solution consultants, we will have a full course on this topic, so be sure that you do attend that enablement. And finally, taking a look at the SAP Business Network Starter Pack. If you will, this is the iceberg on the top of the ocean, and where below is your upsell opportunity and value that you can provide your customer. So in the starter pack, we give you and your customer the Ariba network, including 2,000 documents, the Asset Intelligent Network, including 200 pieces of equipment, 2 connections, and 10 partner portal invitees, and the Logistics Business Network includes 1,000 documents and either A, 1 logistics service provider and 1 digital forwarder, or B, 2 logistics service providers. Let's take a look in more detail. So I've described on the previous slide the what you get in the starter pack. So this is under the limitations row in terms of what's included in Rise with SAP and the offer bundle. We describe here also the capabilities for each of the Ariba network, the Asset Intelligent Network, and the Logistics Business Network, and the trading partner onboarding. Next, we take a look at the upsell. So if, for example, 2,000 purchase orders and invoices are not enough for your customer, and they do want more, there's a great opportunity here for you as a partner to upsell more using the commercial material numbers that are on the indirect price list. The material numbers and the metrics I list here below on the last row of this slide. To learn more about the specific pricing for your region, please refer to the indirect price book on Partner Edge. So there are upsell paths for your customers and for you to work with your customer to sell more of any of these 3. Please take note that there are additional partner sell authorizations for the Asset Intelligent Network and the Logistics Business Network. So if you are upselling the commercial material numbers for these 2, you must also have your digital supply chain sell authorization. For the starter pack, there is no additional requirement for sell authorization. The starter pack will be automatically provisioned as part of the provisioning of Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. Important to note here is the demos for use. So this is the demo environments that you will be using or you need to use or you have been using as you sell S4HANA. So for the ERP core for S4HANA, continue to use your own on-prem or T&D licenses and then get licenses for the additional components, or you can use the SAP shared demo landscape. The test and demo licenses for the SAP Cloud Services that I described are all here listed. So the 800 material numbers are listed here on the left, and by row you can see the components. Partners can also leverage offline and online demo scenarios, which we've packed into the demo store. You can use these to position Rise with SAP. The online demos can be performed also on the Partner Demo Environment Shared option. Note that we've also added a new filter to the demo store, making it very easy for partners to find the demo scenarios suitable for Rise with SAP. Please note that some of the product components in the demo scenarios in the demo store may not all be included with the starter pack. So take a look at what's included when you're creating demos for your customers. However, the full demo will allow you to position the value proposition and begin your upsell for these additional components. Here we see a screenshot of the ready-to-run integrated demo scenarios from the demo stores. So these end-to-end ready-to-run demo scenarios are now available, as I'd said, to explore and demonstrate the capabilities that are bundled in with the Rise with SAP S4HANA solution. Also included with a subscription and a single material number for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, here's what we provide for the core ERP scope. We see the software and support, right? Item 1. This is the functional scope. So you get the software and enterprise support from SAP, the enterprise management on-prem solution, the cloud connectors for SAP Ariba, SuccessFactors, Concur, and IBP, and SAP Adobe Document Services for printing. Also, there are many material numbers on the price list where you can upsell additional line of business and industry solutions. So things like retail, banking, chemicals, and so on, as well as cash management, central finance, GRC solutions, warehouse management, and so on. There are 100+ solutions on the price list. And also there's a wide range of SAP partner add-ons, and these are Solex solutions. Next, let's take a look at the infrastructure management that's also included with the subscription. Provides a low total cost of ownership, high flexibility, best scalability option, and availability. Here I provide a link for the data center availability for the countries. Number 3 is the technical managed services. So here are the technical managed services that SAP provides. These are provided by SAP because we are on the hook for the SLAs. So anything that could potentially impact the SLA guarantee or contract, we have to be able to manage and control. So we provide the services to ensure high availability and business continuity with an SLA of 99.7% for productive systems and a 95% for non-productive systems. Self-service described with the roles and responsibilities matrix. We do have separate courses, both overview and in-depth, that go into the R&R document. So be sure to take a look at those enablement sessions. There's also technical system operations, technical landscape deployment, technical upgrade installations are done, 24/7 service delivery for production system and 24/5 for non-productive systems, and the setup of the RFC connections. So this is all included with the subscription. I'd mentioned partner add-ons or partner solutions. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. At the very top, we've got 4 columns. Let's take a look each individually. So for solution extensions, these are S4 on-prem or extended edition premium certified, and they're on the SAP price list. They're allowed. So they're already on the SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition price list, or they're planned to be commercialized, and they are permitted. A full list of the Solex solutions are on the indirect price list. The Solex that are not S4HANA on-prem or extended certified, they're not permitted. So all Solex that are not on the price list, they're not allowed. Next, we take a look at the solutions that you guys might be providing as a partner. So these are not Solex. They're also S4HANA on-prem or extended edition certified and qualified. So these are the solutions that you've taken the last year to either qualify or certify for S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. These are allowed. So they're not on the price list. These are your own extensions and add-ons and packages, and they're not on the price list. So they're not commercialized, but they're tolerated and in the customer's responsibility. So they're allowed. Hold off for the word of tolerated. We'll take a look at that in a second. So if they're not Solex, not S4HANA on-prem or extended certified or qualified, great news. As long as they're ABAP only add-ons, they will be allowed. They'll be handled like any other customer's own developments, and they are tolerated by SAP and fully in the customer's responsibility if anything messes up. Underneath these two, add-ons requiring access to the operating system and or any additional components outside the ABAP stack, but within the SAP S4HANA Private Cloud environment, these are not allowed, and they will not be permitted to be copied into the environment. Tolerated, what does that mean? So tolerated means installation, upgrading, and testing are fully in the customer's or the partner's responsibility, and SAP will not take over any kind of responsibility in case there's issues. So they're all on you and your customer, but they are allowed. Partners are advised to use the Extended Edition Extensibility Guide and avoid all red items. So if you are a partner who has been involved in selling S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, you're familiar with the Extensibility Guide. We recommend that you go to the Partner Edge, and the Extensibility Guide link is there for you. Download and keep it. We do update that guide quarterly. So if you downloaded it last year, go back and download it again, as it has had refreshments since, and avoid all items in red. For any resultant SLA relevant issues in the system that has been caused by the partner add-on or package or extension, the possible downtime will not be counted in the downtime calculation. So please keep this in mind. Let's now take a look at the provided scope and services provided you are partners. So SAP has taken a customer-first, partner-centric approach for services. If you're familiar with selling or providing services for your customers for S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, you'll be familiar with some of this. What we've done is we've pulled out the proactive AMS services and put that all in the hands of you, our partner. So here we see the services that are provided by you. And you can see that more than 50% of the solution is provided by you, our partner. This could be done in a separate contract for just the advisory and implementation services, and another contract by you or someone else for the AMS. Typical advisory and implementation services are listed here. Typical application managed services are also listed here. Some of you might provide one or the other, or both, but these are all in the realm of you, our partner. It's important to understand and compare the various deployment options for S4HANA Cloud. First column we here see is the S4HANA Cloud. So this is the Essentials and Extended Edition under the Public Cloud. Under Private Cloud and Private Edition, and we see also the deployment option for on-prem. Let's go down the page and see what's different. So for the deployment type for Public Cloud, so this is Essentials, Rise with S4HANA Cloud Essentials, and S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, it's greenfield only, so new implementations. For SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, and of course for on-prem, we permit system conversion, selective data transition, and of course greenfield as well. In terms of extensibility, S4HANA Cloud, the public cloud, it's more restrictive. It's within the S4 extensibility framework, embedded custom code, and SAP Cloud Platform. We also ask that you adhere to the extensibility guide for Extended Edition. In terms of Private Edition, you're able to customize and extend as you wish, providing the guidelines that I talked about earlier for your add-ons, extensions, and packages. In terms of source code modifications for public cloud, not allowed. For Private Edition and on-prem, it's not recommended, but we do allow it. In terms of a release upgrade, for public cloud, it's included and mandatory. So there's a limited flexibility option because your customers need to upgrade depending on Essentials or Extended, whether it's every 6 months, 1 year, or within 2 years. For Private Edition, it's completely in the customer domain. So it's customer owned and installation on request is included. So please make note, unless your customer requests it, there will not be an upgrade. Okay, so the request must be provided. In terms of upgrade entitlements, it's up to 4 times a year for S4HANA Cloud, depending on the edition, whether it's Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Essentials Edition or the Extended Edition. For Private Edition, the upgrade entitlement is once a year. And again, on-prem you can see. The minimum upgrade frequency is 4 times a year for S4HANA Cloud, so the public cloud, and
once every 5 years. So as long as your customer stays within the mainstream maintenance for that release, they can stay in that release. So you've got 5 years to upgrade to the next release. This is great for customers who have very complex environments and it takes them a while to do an upgrade, or they might be in a regulatory industry or in a country where it's just more challenging to do an upgrade every year. In terms of business configuration and content, for Extended Edition, we know that the Enterprise Management Layer is included. For Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud, it's not included. Best practice content is included for S4HANA Cloud. But Enterprise Management Layer is not included for Private Edition, and best practice activation is included and optional. So this means as part of your sales process, you must tick the box that indicates that the customer wants the best practice activated. Otherwise, it won't. So there's very important steps in the sales process to ensure that there's communication between you and the cloud architect and advisory professionals. In terms of third-party add-ons, certified public cloud add-ons are permitted, and partner add-ons and extensions, as long as they're qualified or certified, they will be permitted into the Extended Edition. For Private Edition, there's a wide range of partner add-ons available and allowed, which we described earlier. Again, for all of this, use the Extensibility Guide for Extended Edition as you are creating and upgrading your partner extensions and packages. So please be mindful. For partner templates, their dedicated public cloud templates are planned, but for Private Edition and on-prem, these are allowed. Looking at the license delivery and operations point of view, we see the 3 components across the top, and then we see the license model. It's a subscription. Implementation, it's done by the partner, SAP, the customer, or any combination. The content ownership for public cloud, again, is the same. SAP, partner, and customer. The application managed services for public cloud is done by SAP. But for Private Edition, AMS is done by the partner, the customer, or by SAP ECS in any combination. Content Lifecycle Management is on SAP for public cloud, but Content Lifecycle Management in Private Edition, it's all on the partner, the customer, and SAP ECS. Here we see the product support, the technical operations, and infrastructure. These are all done by SAP for both S4HANA Cloud and S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. Let's now take a look at the commercial aspects in more detail and the new material codes that have started in January 27th and are on the price list. So for Rise with SAP material numbers, you will find 4 offerings. They're comprehensive, they're intelligent, and they're customer specific. So option 1 here, we see S4HANA Cloud. So SAP S4HANA Cloud, the material number is new. It's called Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud. And here we see the new material number. The target customers are net new and your mid-market customer. And what this is the Rise with SAP offer and the Essentials Edition of S4HANA Cloud. Sold directly and indirect. Number 2 is SAP S4HANA Cloud plus Qualtrics. It's direct only. The minimum number of FUEs that can be sold with this material number is 500. So it's really targeting larger customers. And it's focusing on customers that have a need for experience management. The solution is called Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud and Experience Management. And you see the material number here. It will not be on the indirect price list because it can only be sold direct. Next we see S4HANA Cloud, S4HANA Private Cloud. sold direct and indirect. The new material number is called Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. And here you see the new material number. The target customers are your installed base ERP customers, like your ECC customer base, and S4HANA on-prem shelfware customers who are looking to possibly move to the cloud, and your net new customers. And then we have item 4. It's a new material number for ERP cloud deployment options. It can only be sold direct. And it comes in 2 steps. So the first step is where we move their existing ECC environment into the cloud. And this is called ERP Private Cloud, and you can see the material number. And then from there, as they slowly migrate to S4HANA, based on their complexity of their environment or deployment globally, they will then get the S4HANA Private Cloud material number. The target customers, it's exceptional only, and it's for those select complex customers who want to move to the cloud but are not ready for S4HANA. This is not available for mid-market, and it's only available on direct. I've highlighted here the 2 options, number 1 and 3, that are available both for direct and indirect, and please take note of the name and the material number for these 2 options. Looking at it a little bit differently and in a manner that you might be familiar with, here we see the public cloud, which is complete modern SaaS ERP with a quick time to value. The commercial options are Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud for new implementations. This is essentially the Rise with SAP offer plus Essentials Edition. The S4HANA Extended Edition is still on the price list, a viable option, and it's your fallback option depending on the DDA outcome. Next, we see the private cloud. This is cloud value with traditional flexibility and full scope. The commercial options is the Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition and SAP ERP Private Cloud Edition, and the HEC subscription, which is also a fallback option. So if we don't have a full BOM available for your ECC customer, you can still move to a HEC subscription. And then we have our on-prem options. The commercial options are SAP S4HANA on-prem and your HEC BYOL. So that's your fallback option, and many of you are familiar with this and have sold this. So an important note here at the bottom, always lead with Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud. But if more flexibility and extensibility options are required, then position Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. This slide is a great slide to take with you. So if you can take a screenshot and tuck it away, this is a very good reference slide. It shows you the various options and the offerings, the commercial offerings under public cloud and the commercial offerings under private cloud. Here we see the material numbers, the bundled components, which we described, the tiering change, right? So how many tiers that you get automatically, the minimum full user equivalents. So for Private Cloud Edition, you can see under the Private Cloud section on the right, it's 40 FUEs that are minimum. The regions where it's included or excluded, so you see particular call out for China, and the channel in terms of what's available for direct and indirect. So looking now in a greater level of granularity for the Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, here we're going to take a look at the S4HANA Cloud Enterprise Management, or the core ERP, and how we license this subscription. So if you're familiar with selling Essentials Edition or Extended Edition of S4HANA Cloud last year, it is exactly the same for the Private Edition. You have direct user access to the digital core, which is FUEs. Then we have digital access components. You've got your infrastructure add-ons. So if your customer needs additional tenants or incremental memory extensions or disaster recovery, differentiated tenants or preferred care, these are all available for your customer for S4HANA Private Edition. And then you've got all of your industry and line of business solutions. These are premium capabilities, they're specialized processes, and they're all on the price list. So you can see here some examples like real spend, cash management, central finance, transportation management, solutions for banking, solutions for retail, etc. So these are all on the indirect price list in terms of what's available. Most of you should be familiar for how we license S4HANA Cloud. We use the concept of full user equivalence. This is where you take your various user types that your customer might have in their ECC environment, whether they have a developer license, advanced user, core user, or self-serve user types. You count them all up, and then we apply a weighting factor. After the weighting factor is applied, you add them all up. So you see this example for how to allocate the FUEs to different user types. So in this case, we've got 40 advanced users, 75 core users, and 270 self-service users in their ECC environment. We add them up and we get here 64 FUEs. Then we go to the price list and then you see 64 falls into a range and you get your per FUE cost. The minimum purchase for all of the solutions or options under the Rise with SAP S4HANA option are included here. The Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Public, it's 35. So it's the same as the former Essentials Edition, and it's the same for S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, 35. But for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, the minimum FUEs is 40. Many of you have customers who are currently running SAP ECC. They have a great interest in moving to S4HANA and to the cloud. How do we make that journey easy if they are already paying maintenance to SAP for their solution? Well, we have what's called a cloud extension policy to make their transformation and journey to S4HANA Cloud a lot easier. It's a way to fast track to innovation and provide a flexible pathway to the cloud. So pretty well what it is, it's not a conversion program, but it's a framework that allows your customers to partially terminate their existing on-prem licenses and associated maintenance payments, right? So services that include the enterprise support and standard support for product support for large enterprises in conjunction with the purchase of a subscription for the cloud solutions from SAP. So this cloud extension policy is not just for SAP S4HANA Cloud, but it's across the board for all of our cloud solutions. So please work with your sales executive or industry account executive and your cloud architect advisor or your CAA, and they'll work out the calculation logic to move from your ECC installed base license to the subscription using the cloud extension policy. So again, in essence, the cloud extension policy allows for a flexible termination dating. So licenses must be terminated within the initial cloud contract period, and maintenance must be paid until the licenses are terminated. The ramp year or year one ACV must be greater than or equal to 25% of the annual ACV 1 year ramp only, and it applies to all years after the initial ramp year. So this provides extended and increased flexibility for terminating usage and support. And it really supports LACE, the land, adapt, consume, and expand footprint of the latest SAP cloud innovations. So again, please work with your sales team if you have an ECC customer moving to SAP S4HANA Cloud and Rise with SAP. Next, we quickly take a look at the SAP S4HANA Cloud licensing. So don't forget that we have direct user access to the digital core, and here we have the details for the use types and for the solution. So keep this in mind. And then we look at the digital access. So please don't forget this line item on your BOM. Okay, so this is for indirect access. And here we have the document types and the multipliers for each of the document types. And again, we calculate. And then you need to add the digital access component to your bill of material. So don't forget this line item either in your rough order of magnitude calculation and on the final quote. And see here the various document types for SAP S4HANA Digital Access. I'm not going into the details here, but you can save this screen. Partners, please take note of these additional pricing and commercial considerations. SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition deals will not allow for any BOM additions to be on your deal. There are no exceptions. This means items which are not on the SAP price list cannot be included in a private edition deal. Private edition is available for both resale and Cloud Choice Profit, so they're both available today. They were available during the pilot phase and they're still available today. If a customer wants to license a solution or service that hasn't been commercialized, i.e. it's not on the price list, and the item can be separated on a different infrastructure so they can be split into two infrastructures, then you can do two contracts. One for S4HANA Cloud Private Edition for the enterprise management component, and also then for the HEX subscription for that BOM item. If it is in addition to the SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition infrastructure, so it shares the same infrastructure, it will not be permitted. And you must consider then moving the entire deal to a HEX subscription as a possibility. Number 4, S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. It's a hyperscaler first and SAP DC if customer chooses. Premium suppliers, we're working on this for selected market units, and you will learn about the premium suppliers that we're working with and who are permitted as part of your sales process and your sales cycle. Your CAA and your sales team can communicate the current details for you. The hyperscaler infrastructure, along with the SAP Managed Services by ECS, is included with the subscription. In other words, partners or customers cannot use your own personal contract or the contract you have with your company to draw down your licenses with a hyperscaler. For PCM or partner cloud managed deals, it's by exception only, and please work with Uwe Gregelite as he is the only person that can approve that deal. You are going to continue to use the Digital Discovery Assessment tool. If you've been selling S4HANA Cloud, either Essentials Edition or Extended Edition in the past 3 years, you will be familiar with the Digital Discovery Assessment tool. This tool is available and Cloud Private Edition has been included and incorporated. Here on your presentation in the PDF, you will see a link over this box. This will take you to a video highlighting what's new. To register for the Digital Discovery Assessment tool, if you have not already, I provide a link here. We are going to be providing detailed enablement on just the sales process. It's still a work in process if you're listening to this course in the late February, early March timeframe, but it will be coming and available probably after March the 15th. So come back and review that course when it's available. For the sales process, I want to highlight the various steps and where partners come into play for either a direct, where you're providing the services, or an indirect deal via partner edge sell, resell, or cloud choice profit. So we have 5 steps here. The customer qualification step is the first step. On an indirect deal, this is where you will first engage with the industry account executive or the mid-market sales exec on your deal. The internal SAP sales professional will be using our Harmony system to create an opportunity. And together you will work with the team to complete the cloud discovery assessment tool to ensure that you've got the correct product fit for your customer. Essentials, extended, or private edition are all viable options. And then a draft bill of material is created. You will then work with your sales team in the first step to get a rough order of magnitude or your budgetary pricing. You can certainly use the indirect price list to get some budgetary numbers for enterprise management for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. However, there might be some additional connectors, disaster recovery and technical aspects, and some additional line of business solutions that you will want to add to your deal and get a better rough order of magnitude. You also have to consider indirect access as well. Okay, so all of these components need to be included in order to come up with a good rough order of magnitude pricing. So this all happens in the first step. The second step is the technical scope and preparation. We are going to be providing more of these tasks and to be put into your hands, our partners. The IAE or mid-market sales executive will then here assign the service partner or the channel partner for indirect for the opportunity. They will here enter the hyperscaler in the opportunity. Not all solutions in terms of add-ons and line of business and industry add-ons are not available in all hyperscalers. Your customer might also have a preferred hyperscaler, or you may have a preferred hyperscaler that you like to work with your customer. Here you will work together to determine who that is. At this point, the Cloud Architect Advisory Professional is automatically assigned to the opportunity. You will be working with this person on the technical requirements and completing the technical assessment form. What we're working on is making this form, the technical assessment form, available to you, our partner, for all indirect deals. On this technical assessment form is a lot of information that you need to gather from your customer. And so for indirect deals and your ECC customers, you will know your customers the best. So it makes sense for you as a partner to get this information and work with your customer together to get this all gathered up and filled out, rather than having SAP CAA professionals working with your customer directly. So together, the CAA, the partner, and the customer work together to complete this form. And once it's done, they send this information back to the sales rep. At this point, we're ready to enter the quote. So the information is put into the system, and there's an incubation approval process that happens internally at SAP. It's a little bit of a black box for you, our partner, but this is what's going on in this step. This could take a day, an hour, 3 days, depending on how complex the technical assessment and the deal is. But at the end of the day, out pops an approved quote. At this point, for direct deals, and this includes CCP, The industry AE and the mid-market sales exec will then negotiate the deal with the customer. But for indirect deals, so these are your customers, the VAR, the partner, negotiates the deal with your customer for all indirect deals. So you'll get your quote, and then you'll add on all your pieces, which includes your services, your AMS, your partner extensions and add-ons and packages that you're selling, etc., etc. So you're going to be putting together the full deal for your customer for indirect deals. If there are any changes based on the negotiation and discussions that you have with your customer, it goes back for reapproval. The CAA completes the template again, especially if the bill of material or the hyperscaler is changed. And you go back one step to the quoting process to requote and refine the deal. And then you go back to your customer and you go back and forth in a negotiation fashion until you're done. Then your customer selects SAP and you as their partner. Yay! So the deal is signed, and then the industry AE and the mid-market sales executive at SAP submits it for booking. This next step is very, very important. This is important for sales and pre-sales roles in your company partner to work with SAP to get this completed in a very timely manner. So here the industry AE and the mid-market sales exec and the cloud architect advisory professional and the partner, you collect information for delivery and hand over to delivery. So it's a checklist. I would recommend that once the quote is initially done, that you start looking at this checklist and start getting the information filled out early. Because in the quoting process, there is a commit date for provisioning. But we cannot provision unless this checklist is complete. So if you miss the provisioning date, you've got to start all over again in the deal finalization step. And you will get a new provisioning date, which could be out by weeks. It could be out by months. So I would strongly recommend that you get this checklist done and work with the SAP sales team early. And then finally is the delivery. So once this checklist is done and it's handed over to delivery and you've got your provisioning date all set up with your customer, the industry AE or the mid-market sales exec then work with the cloud architect and the back office team to do the handover to the SAP Services ECS team for delivery and the CEE. Then ECS delivers the environment to the customer. ECS will then collaborate with you, our partner, who have been selected by the customer, and then off you go to begin the implementation phase of the project. So while there are a lot of steps and nuances to the sales process, you can see it's fairly well organized. And as long as you understand where you are in the process and you know what's coming next, it's pretty easy. And we expect a lot of volume and interest with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. And we look forward in working with you in many sales processes and closing business with you this year and beyond. So just a note here on that technical assessment form. All right, so this is what happens in step 2 with the technical assessment. So this is where we really need to understand the customer's environment and the BOM mapping and the networks and the sizing and the backup and restore components, as well as the R&R components in terms of who's doing what. So you can see there's a lot of things that are going on from a technical perspective that need to be done. And that's part of the technical assessment step. And this will be where you're going to be heavily involved in an indirect sales cycle. Again, we are going to have a detailed enablement on this process and this step. We'll have the CAA team come and present, and stay tuned. The recording will be included in this enablement and in the enablement on Partner Edge, where you can find the registration and recording links. And blasting out a little bit about the handover to delivery in summary, you can see here that it's very critical to get all of this information and things like installation numbers, S users for the delivery team, SIDs for the systems, network details, and contact information. Very important to get this before the committed delivery date. And while I'm not going to read this slide, this is something that you may want to tuck away in terms of starting to gather this information, because this information is important and you need this information as part of the handover to the delivery phase of the project. A tool that's going to be used as part of the mapping from what your customer has in their ECC installed base, we need to map what they've got to the 800 material numbers for what's available for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition and all of the components. So if they have HR or payroll or cash management or warehouse management, the various user types and so on and so forth, they all have to be mapped to the Cloud Private Edition material numbers. And the tool we use is called the Rosetta Stone. And so in the first step of the sales process, you'll be working with the salesperson, whether it's the industry AE or the mid-market sales exec. You'll be using and working with the sales exec using the mapping tool or the Rosetta Stone. This is not a partner tool. You will not find it on Partner Edge. SAP will manage the tool, but you will be working with the SAP team to help map your deal to the appropriate list of material numbers that you're going to need to put on the quote. Once you've gone back to your customer base and ECC installed base, and you start talking to them about the benefits and capabilities of Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, you'll then want to start and introduce them and get yourselves introduced into the sales process. We've got some great people here to begin the process if you don't know who your sales execs are, the industry AE or the mid-market sales exec for your region. We do have a center of excellence for overall deal support, and they can help point you to the right people. For each region, we've listed the names here. On the right-hand side, we've got the Solution Center Manager and the management team for the Solution Center team for each region. These are the contacts that your partner account manager will go to nominate and approve your cell authorization nomination. They'll make sure that you've got qualified solution consultants, and they will send me an email to get you approved and on the list. They'll also help you navigate through the material on Partner Edge, where to find enablement, and so on and so forth. In your deal, when you're neck deep in working with the sales team for the deal, we've got CAA contacts, level 2 support to help you with your deals. So for each region, we've got named individuals that will help you with your mapping, right? To help with the bill of material mapping. They'll help you with the technical questions that you might have in terms of the environment, the checklist on the technical assessment form. So this is going to be very useful for you. When we put the technical assessment form responsibility for all indirect deals into your hands, if you have any questions or problems or issues, these are your contacts for level 2 support. So please take a look and print out this screen and save it. This will come in very handy to help you with your deals as you begin your process. Let's now take a look at an example. So here we have an existing ERP customer. It's a customer scenario with a third-party database. So they're a manufacturing company. They work in many countries. They've got lots of employees. They're a little large here, so they're not a mid-market, but they're a nice-sized organization. And they're a very happy customer who want to prepare for the digital age by converting their classic ECC on any database system to S4HANA. At the same time, they want to move to the cloud in a brownfield or migration approach. So thereby, they're a perfect fit for the Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. So we can see the current bill of material on the left-hand side. They've got professional users, project and worker users. They've got foundation starter. They've got treasury and risk management, receivables management, and they also have a sales order execution, B2B and B2C, and they're running a third-party database that they purchased from SAP. So a very typical ECC customer. So here's an example, and we use the cloud extension policy also to help with the pricing, so just keep that in mind. But here we do a mapping of the bill of material. So we see on a users, we've got existing users, right? Their material numbers on the price list, their 700 or on-premise material numbers, and we map them to the private edition. Then the Rise with SAP Cloud Private Edition licenses for the core scope. We get a metric for full user equivalents, and we include the HANA database. Next, we take a look at their other components. We've got treasury and risk management and receivables management, and these two elements are on the price list. So we have many licenses for industry and line of business solutions. You look to the indirect price list and you find your material number. Next, we take a look at the sales and service order execution, and we see that there's digital access. So there's no sales or service order executions available for S4HANA Cloud, but the licenses are extended into digital access, so the indirect access. Finally, we have a third-party database runtime. So third-party database licenses from SAP cannot be terminated during the technical transition. Usage of third-party databases must not exceed the licenses level during transition. And here we see a double asterisk. So in the case of a third-party database has been purchased directly from the vendor, the specific items and conditions of this vendor still apply. So you can see the sales process is quite organized, and you can see that we've got some great tools that you'll be working with our sales team together, and some of these tools we're going to put into your hands so that there are no bottlenecks and you can get the job done quickly with your customer. Now, with Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, there's lots of benefits and value for you, our partners. Whether you're selling, whether you're providing services, or whether you're building applications, extensions, and add-ons. For our sell partner, you've got flexibility as an attractive price point that you can position to your ERP installed base customer. It's available for resale and cloud choice profit. And there's an attractive cloud extension policy that are applied for indirect business as well. The cloud extension policy is based on net value of the contract. Full scope of on-prem, and you've got lots of defined partner add-ons and SAP add-ons. There's a wide range of IE integration to other cloud and on-prem products, and we've got demo options for you, our partner, to leverage. For services, partners who provide implementation, advisory, and AMS services, customers and partners have the option to customize, modify, and extend the solution. You've got expert configuration with full IMG access. System conversions and brownfield migrations into the cloud are permitted. AMS or Application Managed Services, advisory and implementation services are provided by a partner-centric approach. And AMS partner enablement and certification is available and recommended to ensure quality and partner excellence positioning. And it's a scalable platform. Finally, for our build partners, so these are you guys who are building extensions, add-ons, and packages. There's a wide range of Solex partner add-ons on the price list. There's also access to the extensibility framework. There's no restrictions with respect to extensibility, but we do ask and recommend that you follow the S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition extension strategy. Side-by-side and in-app extensions are permitted, and we talked about the rules around what's not permitted. And code enhancements and code modifications are allowed. So there you have a great value proposition for Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud Private Edition. Well, thanks for hanging in. I know this session is quite long, but it does provide you all of the information that you will need to be successful in selling and supporting S4HANA Cloud Private Edition and the Rise with SAP offer. Here we have some contacts for you. Again, a great reference slide for you to keep and tuck away. Your first point of contact is always your partner account manager or your partner service advisor. They have received a lot of training and they can answer probably 90% of your questions. If together you are unable to get your question answers, we have key contacts here on a global level and by region. This includes the Solution Center Management Team, the Regional Service Partner contacts, the GSSP leads and partner managers and contacts for you, and the Private Cloud Additional Regional Center of Excellence contacts by region. So please reach out to these people. They're here to help and direct you. On the mid-market Rise with SAP and the Cloud ERP roles, we've got great contacts here also. Again, for the mid-market only. We've got the mid-market Cloud ERP leads, mid-market move leads, the GPO move specialists, and the Rise with SAP S4HANA Cloud and Extended Edition leads. I'm Michelle Boyer. I'm here to help as well. And I'm listed here as your global contact, along with my manager, Bobby Vetter. And then we also have a GPO Rise with SAP S4HANA Public Cloud lead. So all of these contacts are here for you to help in any way we can to help make you, our partner, successful. And finally, I provide you a slide with links. So this is a resource slide for where you can find customer-facing presentations, links to upcoming enablement and recordings for previous sessions, FAQs, links to other places within the partner portal. So it's really one-stop shopping. We've got a new Rise with SAP on Partner Edge. We've updated the S4HANA Cloud pages on Partner Edge. And here we see some additional links for enablement and links again to the demo store. So with this, I wish you the best of luck and continuing your enablement to complete your sell or service authorization. And I look forward to working with you this year. So thanks for attending. Have a great day and have a great journey.